Hi everyone, in this video we're going to look at the different roasting styles of Chinese green teas. So there are two basic roasting styles. DRAGONWELL is pan roasting. So when you have flat leaves, young baby tips like this, usually the leaves are harvested and pan roasted against a large wok right away. Heat is what would deactivate the enzyme from further breaking down the tea leaf. If it wasn't roasted straight away, then you would get oxidation, and then it would be breaking down the leaf to turn it into a darker color. The other style of roasting would be drum roasting. So drum roasting, as shown in this Liuan Guapian sample, drum roasting means the leaves are harvested and then they're placed in a bamboo basket, and it's really large. The basket sometimes is taller than I am, and it is placed over a pit. Inside the pit would be charcoal or some sort of heat. Usually then that is done very quickly, so the heat also deactivates the enzyme. But nowadays, drum roasting really is done by machinery as well. So you would get heat, residual heat being fed on the bottom of a conveyor belt, and then the tea would pass through and the tea leaves would dehydrate and lose moisture that way. So there are many styles of roasting tea as well. Japanese style tea tends to be steep. So anytime heat is applied, you can use pan roasting, drum roasting, and then of course by steaming. Japanese greens tends to be a little bit more grassy, but it's their style of deactivating the enzyme. And then of course, when you have green teas that are mass produced in tea bags, they're electrically dehydrated with a machine. In larger batches, it's easier to control with machinery versus the more artisan roasting style that's done more by the master craftsman. So then it's easier for them to control, and the result is the premium product that's a lot more tasty. So today I've brewed the DRAGONWELL Finest. This Finest is our first harvest of the year. We get roughly 20 to 25 pounds or about 10 kilos of the tea each year. So we are already close to running out for this crop. So I brew both teas with cooler water at about 140 Fahrenheit, and I've steeped it for about 5 minutes. So it's very easy to brew. When you have a quality tea like this, the flavor is very rich and thick. Oh my gosh, so good. It's very bright, it's crisp, it's refreshing. It looks like water, but it's very different from, I think, more common teas that you normally can get, like gunpowder. Gunpowder greens we have throughout the year, but gunpowder is mass produced. It's easily accessible because it's produced year-round, and that's a convection roast. In terms of flavor, gunpowder is not quite as bright and refreshing as something like this, but it's a bit more smoky, slightly more tannic. So oftentimes we would use that as a base tea for blending. For teas like these, you don't need to add anything to it, especially when you're drinking something like a Liuan Guapian. If you prefer thicker, more intense flavor, the Liuan is a tertiary leaf from Anhui. So I've brewed it the same way as DRAGONWELL. The drum roasted leaves are a little bit bigger usually, and they're not as uniform because it's not the first crop of the year, but it still has that rich flavor. Wow, that's so intense in flavor. It's similar to having matcha powderized and then mixed with water, but in this case, you're getting an actual whole leaf, so it really does extend the shelf life a lot longer. As a matter of fact, Liuan Guapian is one of those teas where it would taste nicer after it rests a bit. We have a cool environment in the Bay Area, so you can keep these teas for up to 2 or 3 years, and it's still very vibrant and fresh. So how you brew the tea really contributes to how fresh and bright they are. But these roasting styles is a method of preserving their freshness and their quality. In terms of flavor, the pan roasting style of the DRAGONWELLs tend to give it that nuttiness, similar to taking some fresh vegetables and placing it on the grill. So you get that added flavor when it's direct contact heat. And then for the drum roasting style, the flavor is more about preserving its freshness. So similar to taking the same vegetables that you get, but baking it in the oven. So that preserves the freshness of the tea, and then you get that creaminess as well. So for me, I personally prefer to drink our finest DRAGONWELL when it's available. It goes out pretty quickly. We have a very short supply. So each year we basically would get only about 10 kilos, give or take. That is the most sought after tea we have. And then for the Liuan Gua Pian, that's more my everyday teas. If I had a meal, it's really nice to have a richer cup of tea like the Liuan to hold up to the meal. Similar to picking wines, so you could pick something that's very refreshing to drink without food, or one that is a little bit more intense to pair with your meal. If you want to read a little more about our different greens, please visit our website, redblossomtea.com, and then of course follow us on our YouTube channel.